Hi, my name is Jim Pendry. Welcome to this video. I've been involved in health and wellness and coaching for almost 40 years. And wellness can be confusing. People buy products that they don't notice any difference. They make diet changes and it's the same. They read books. The information is conflicting. So there's good reason for all this. And being able to stand back and look at it from a distance with 40 years of experience, it's easy for me to talk about this. So this is the first video in a series that I'm producing where I'm going to be talking about some of the things that make the biggest impact on wellness and where the confusion comes in. So I'm going to start off by asking you a question. Is wellness a concept for you, or is it something that you've actually experienced? And this will make more sense in a couple minutes if you can't answer the question yet. So to start with, there's different levels of wellness. When you're young, hopefully you started out with a level of balance. It's where you feel great, you have great mood, you have good energy, all your body parts are working. And in time, then you slip down to the feeling of off or something's not quite right. And then the next level is unbalanced. That's where it's like, I just don't feel that good. And then the last level we'll jump to is crisis. And that's where it feels like nothing's working. Now, the drop from balance to crisis doesn't happen overnight. There's lots of clues along the way. And the thing that's interesting, one of the things that's interesting with this is that as people drop from one level to the next, they quickly become accustomed to this new level of feeling. And it's like, yeah, I've always felt that way. Or yeah, I've always been like that. But they haven't. And the same thing happens in reverse. If people go from not feeling that good, can't remember anything, to all of a sudden have more mental clarity and more energy, it's amazing how they forget quickly where they came from. So a few years ago, just to drill down on this subject further, I did a survey and I wanted to know how many people were actually listened to their body, were plugged into their body. So my question is, are you someone who realizes that what you eat affects the way you feel? And 60% of women said yes. And 30% of men said yes. Now, this is just an observation, but overall, to be able to stop and listen to your body, you need to be present. And I, at one time, was not present. And the idea of listening to my body, I used to joke about it and stick my arm to my ear and say, I can't hear anything. But I learned to listen to my body by just stopping to take notice. But to be present, it takes breathing room to breathe in your wellness and your lifestyle. And both mean a lot to me. So to go back to what I was just talking about, these different levels and listening to your body, is many men said, yeah, I don't pay attention. If I'm just feeling really tired, I just have another coffee, another painkiller, another muscle relaxant, and I just power through it. And the thing is you can only do that for so long until you can't, because the body eventually just breaks down. So that's the idea of this series, is to help people not get there, to hopefully solve the problem sooner. Because if you are someone, this goes back to my question, if you're someone who has experienced wellness and you found yourself dropping down to some lower levels and then made the appropriate changes and got yourself back to that balanced feeling of feeling great with all your body parts working, that's not common. And so we want to try to make that common and people understand how to make that work better. So again, that's what this series is about. Today, there is so much information available to people on wellness and illness and products and so much more. But the statistics on wellness and illness have never looked so bleak. And not just for the main conditions of cancer and diabetes and heart disease, but all the other conditions like digestive health and anxiety and all the problems that are created from just digestive illness alone. But then there's all the other problems of just feeling off or just, I don't feel quite right. Like that is just so common. And one of the biggest reasons for this that I have found is that there's not enough education and focus on all the common things that people do that are working against them, things that no one talks about. No one wants to be the guy at the party, talking about all the negative things that they can't do. They just want to say, "Hey, do this thing and you're going to feel great." But we know that that doesn't work. And the other thing is that there's a disconnect between what people know they need to do and what they actually do. And so there's a secret to all this, to making it work. And so I've always tried to find that. So high level wellness is not about chasing symptoms. It's about putting the right things in your body every day, like a foundation, and not putting the things in your body every day that don't work for you. So if you'd like to explore more about these ideas, I have a full presentation that I've created, as well as there'll be future videos in this series, and you can find them all on my website, jimpantry.com. Thanks a lot.